The only thing that's not affected by inflation is Costco hot dogs.
This is true. And the other food in the Costco food court.
It's true.
Go support
Costco is
your
the
local
best.
Costco. Go support your local Costco.
No, it is so busy. You'll never find peace and tranquility in a Costco. You go there and you must expect mayhem.
But you will get good food.
Yes, it's all worth it in
for
the
a
end.
reasonable price.
Of $1.50 for the hot dogs.
Stuff. You get $1.50 for the hot dog. You get, I think it's what, $2 or like how much is it for the large drink? I forget.
Something cheap. It costs $7 for lunch for my wife and I. $7.
Yeah, for 2 people.
It's ridiculous. It's awesome. Anyways,
it's crazy.
It gets me so excited that I just want to jump into Lightspeed right now.
Let's jump into Lightspeed for the 5th time.
Don't strap yourselves in. I'm going to make a jump to Lightspeed.
And we're back. We're officially back. I swear this is not take 3 of this bloody intro. Welcome back, ladies. Welcome back, ladies and germs, to a brand spanking new episode of the Sando Aqua Lounge Podcast. We're just talking about all things Star Wars.
Ladies, Jen.
Hey.
Hello, mentals and ladies, Jen.
Wow, mentals and ladies.
It's like gentles and ladies, men.
Gentles and ladies, men. We've got ladies and germs. Yeah. We've got so many ways to
gentles and ladies, men.
We will roll with that.
We can't jump to Lightspeed a 5th time. We've burned out the boosters. We're running out of fuel. We just gotta make it till we get to the next space gas station.
Yeah.
And fuel up.
We're floating in the middle of space right now in the outer rim.
We are struggling. We were doing a delivery and we got sidetracked.
Yeah. Speaking of sidetracks,
Or
shall we sidetrack into our topics at hand?
That does feel like how it goes.
It does. Our main topics seem to be our sidelines.
Swings and roundabouts. Yes. We see every possible side quest and we just go after it. We'd be great at Skyrim.
Or terrible, depending on how you play it. All right.
I don't know. I like side questing in video games.
I do like the side quests. They're pretty cool.
But
anyways.
More to the point of our story.
Yes. In this episode, we will be diving into the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer that came out about just a little over a month ago at this point, but we haven't talked about it yet, so we're going to talk about it. Hopefully it's brief, and then we're going to jump into some hot takes. Yeah.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah. It's been about 4 or 5 weeks. But yeah, after
I don't know why. I thought it released 4 weeks. I thought it released like a week ago.
No. It was probably officially not talked about a week ago. And here we are, bringing it back. And it's not due to poor writing, it's due to our poor scheduling, actually.
Yes, that's a big one there.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, we're going to hop into the Mandalorian Grogu trailer that came out just a little over a month ago. So we're bringing it back. But then afterwards, we're going to dive into some hot takes that we have found on the internet and kind of thought it worthy to discuss and talk about and disagree or agree with these hot takes. So without further ado, what are some of your opening thoughts on the movie trailer?
I mean, right away, it looks like what I'm going to assume is the Star Wars equivalent of like a space cowboy movie, and I'm down for that. I think it's going to be fun. No, that's just it. Space Cowboys. I'm good with that.
Oh, Space Cowboys. It's almost like a buddy cop film, but it's like...
Yeah, a little
Cowboys.
bit. It's a little bit like buddy cop film. Or like that one... Was it Clint Eastwood who was driving the orangutan? Was it Clint Eastwood with that movie? Except just Mando and Grogu?
I would just roll with it. Yep, it was Clint Eastwood.
It was definitely Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Not even going to fact check it. Absolutely it was.
Well, I mean, I will fact check it.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
Just so we're not like spreading, incorrect information. And monkey.
That's fair.
Yep, yeah. Clint Eastwood. Every Which Way But Loose and Any Which Way You Can. Those are the movies where he's got the monkey.
Oh, there we go. One of my first thoughts of the trailer was the Razor Crest is back.
Which is a weird, just weird.
I mean, like, the only way that I can see it coming back is if it was like, if it's a copy of the ship, they found another Razor Crest. But
I mean, there's no way they just make like one model of a ship and then it's just like, yep, this is it. This is the only one we're making, and then never make any more.
yeah, I'm leaning towards I believe it was season 1 that it was pre-Empire that they had like the ships had like the tracking or whatever it had on it. I might have to rewatch season 1 of Mando. It's been a while, but I thought there's something about the Razor Crest that made it very unique and why the Mandalorian had it in the first place. So the fact that it was like destroyed in season 2, I'm like, what are the odds he just gets a new one? I don't know if it's very high.
I mean, I don't know. Like, they could have just, it'd be so cheap if they just like, oh, we fixed it, or oh, we found another Razor Crest. It's exactly identical to yours. That feels pretty cheap, like just kind of an ass pull. But if they like, I don't know, part of me wants them to like find it in like a junkyard kind of a situation, just like, oh yeah, we've got like the husk, but it needs like some major repairs and overhauls. So maybe that's like a plot of the movie, and they like spend a good chunk of that tracking down the parts and credits needed to restore it. I feel like that'd be cool.
Do a little car restoration.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just like pulls up to an old junkyard and it's like only like a couple hundred credits because it's like so beat up and you have to put a serious amount of work in it. And the guy
just because it's like such a piece of junk.
Yeah, man, this ship only did the Kessel run in 16 parsecs.
Also, I'd like to point out parsecs is not actually a measurement of time, but distance.
Yeah.
Which is such a weird thing that it keeps being like oh, it didn't like X amount of parsecs. Parsecs is distance, not time.
So basically, Han is stupid.
We already knew that.
Oh.
We already look. In terms of a D&D character, Han has maxed out his charisma and his dexterity, right? He's got some points in strength, probably from doing like workouts with Chewbacca. Intelligence is his dump stat.
Oh.
He's got high wisdom, though. He's got high wisdom. He's very street smart.
So, okay.
He's very street smart. He's very book dumb.
Okay. I mean, so was I.
So am I. So.
The next thing that I noticed was that, I mean, out of all so the sequel trilogy characters, like my favorite one out of every single one has got to be Babu Freak.
Now me Googling who this is.
It's like the little midget guy with...
Oh, the little goober dude, the little gremlin.
Yeah. Okay, so watching The Rise of Skywalker, like Babu Freak is the only character I look forward to for seeing in the sequel trilogy. He's
so funny.
He is so hilarious. And he just like is so happy all the time. He is basically my spirit animal.
He is just a little guy.
Yeah. And everybody should have a Babu Freak as a pet, I think. Especially if he's like repairing stuff. Like that's a plus, you know?
Just like, hey Babu, you want to fix my car? You want to do it for a Scooby snack? Yes.
Hey. But there's so many Babu Freaks in the trailer. And I'm like, dude, I don't even care about the villain or the conflict at hand. I just want to see the Bobby Freak clan go nuts and fix his Razor Crest.
That'd be funny. I'll be honest, when I originally thought or saw the Babu Freak in the Rise of Skywalker, I thought that it was like some, like, sort of Ugnaught guy, like because they're like very traditionally sorted with technology. Like we see them in Empire Strikes Back. They're like disassembled C-3PO. They're working with certain through scrap. You saw Mando, the one that reprogrammed the IG-11.
Yeah.
I think. My mind went to IG-88, which is the other assassin droid.
Yes.
Which is incorrect.
Yeah, IG-88 was one of the bounty hunters in Empire.
Yes.
I was so hyped to see Zeb swinging an electro staff. It's like he finally gets some action.
We get some sweet rep from Rebels, my boys.
Oh yeah, he was the last Rebels character in all the recent released Star Wars shows. He is the last Rebels character that needs action. He finally gets it. So that's pretty awesome.
I do love Zeb. I think he's rad as heck. He is a cool dude.
He's very cool. It's one of the better characters in Rebels, I found. Rewatching the show again, about almost done season 2, and it's like, man, I miss these guys. It's actually really well done.
It's a really good show.
It is.
I think it got ragged on a little bit because people were hoping it was going to be like Clone Wars 2, which obviously wasn't.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it got ragged on for that. Like, once people got over that, they would be like, oh, this is actually really solid.
It's basically the same story elements, just in a different animation form. I mean, I get it. The animation form is like a little bit more kiddish.
It's close enough to the Clone Wars like style, but it's not quite there.
I thought it had a little bit of distance yet. Like it's definitely distinguishable.
Yeah.
But it's like it's the same style of content. Like it's very solid.
Yeah.
For what it's really good at, and it's kind of meh for the stuff that it misses. Like it's not. I can't recall like a episode of Clone Wars at least that I was like, this is absolutely horrendous. I hate this episode. Rebels, it's like meh. Like the bad episodes are meh, and the great episodes are like very well done.
It's pretty high praise if you can be like, the great episodes are great and the bad episodes are just meh.
Yeah.
That shows some quality to it, I think.
I'd say so. It's definitely worth watching all the way through once, and then you can kind of just pick and choose your favorite arcs and all that stuff.
That's true with most shows.
Yep.
I feel like we've kind of naturally segued into the full topic of the video because we've gone from the Mando to talking about Rebels being pretty solid.
Just before we move on, I want to quickly put in the fact that we have a jacked hut, like a gladiator.
Yep.
I
must have missed that. Did I miss that? Where was jacked, like, ripped up the hut? There's the ripped hut. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That just reminds me of, in Legends, there was a Hutt who was a Jedi, and apparently he was quite a beast on the battlefield, but he turned to the dark side, which is like a dang shame because he was quite a powerhouse.
Where was this?
Just look up Jedi Hutt. He did turn to the dark side, which is unfortunate.
I'm curious on what kind of content he was in.
I believe it was mostly the comics.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I might have to check that out later. You want to see? You want to hear a new transition sound into our hot takes?
Let's do it.
All right, who's going first for hot takes? I think you had a segue. You had a segue into one, so I was
just going to say we segued pretty good because people like to rag on Rebels a little bit, although it has like come up as a little bit, so it's not like a hot take that's good. I'd put it up there with Clone Wars. I feel like that's not a hot take.
Rebels is on par with Clone Wars?
I believe it's up there with Clone Wars. I don't know if it's like the same level as Clone Wars, but it's like it's in that area. It's in the ballpark.
I would say
Clone Wars is up to bat, and Rebels is in the batting, or is ready to go up to bat.
Okay, I can see that in terms
if
of
that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I can see that in terms of its content, because a lot of its content is very well done. I mean, I think of the episodes with like Rex, Ahsoka comes back, Bail Organa's in there, Princess Leia shows up once in a while. But then of course we have moments like Vader versus Ahsoka, Darth Maul comes in, like there's a lot of really, really good stuff in there. But what the Clone Wars has over Rebels, and I think this is kind of where you're heading with this, correct me if I'm wrong, if I get it horribly mistaken, but the Clone Wars animation definitely goes way above what Rebels ever did. But that is not to say that Rebels is terrible. It is very well done. Like I said before, I am rewatching it, and I am quite enjoying it again all the way through as a second watch. So, all in all, I would agree with that statement.
So, here's one that I've seen. Here's a hot take I've seen, which I don't necessarily disagree with. The Jedi are overhated. Like, I'm guessing like the modern Jedi Order that kind of allowed Palpatine to just like swoop in and take over.
Is there
just
more
like,
context
were
to
they
it?
It is literally, the comment is literally just the Jedi are overhated. So this gives me some freedom to interpret as I see fit here.
Okay, go for it.
I believe they're probably referring to like Era of the High Republic Jedi, very rigid, stuck in their ways, just like, this is how it's got to be done, and if you don't do it this way, we will remove you from the order, and just like, this is bad, don't do this, and just like, and it's just like, okay, yes. And it is fun to rag on them for being so like stuck in the rut, as it were, and allowing Palpatine at the height of the Jedi's power, they managed to let Palpatine like swoop in from underneath and pull the rug out from him. And I get that, it's a big stupid. However, we also get a lot of individual Jedi who are stupendous and do follow the code, but do it in a way where they're still like being like fantastic and serving like the greater good.
Right.
Plo Koon, Kit Fisto, Qui Gon. He doesn't necessarily serve the Order's codes per se, or the Order's rules, but he's just a fantastic, more mindful of the living force than the Council.
Yeah, Qui-Gon's one of my favorites. Yeah, overhated. I didn't really think that was a thing. I guess I definitely have seen it. I've definitely seen like YouTube comments and stuff like that, like really hate what the Jedi were about when they let Sidious take over. I will say that I think they're only overhated because of the stuff that you said already. But the reason why that they let Sidious take over was because they did not adapt to the living force, right? Like they didn't listen to the force itself. They just did whatever they wanted in terms of like they're very traditional Jedi. Like everything goes to the High Council.
They're more focused on the politics of the Senate and the Republic and the Council than of the Force.
Yeah, they literally started to do everything that what they were originally supposed to stand for. They went back on everything. I can kind of see why like the Jedi would be hated in the fandom from one point of view. Absolutely.
I can also think of a bunch of Jedi who people would be like, this guy's a freaking nerd, and he's a numpty.
Who's that?
Oh no, his name just ran away from me. No!
Go catch him. Go. Quick. Grab him.
What's his name?
Paul Krill.
Yeah, Ponkrell. Yeah, there's a good one to hate on. You love to hate him though.
It is true.
Mundi is another one. That's a love to hate on him.
Love to hate on him.
Dude is just so terrible.
Why?
I forget exactly why, but I do remember that his clones weren't the biggest fan of him. Like he wasn't like Aayla Secura or Anakin or Ahsoka, who like took the time, meet all the troops, be all friendly and go close to them. He was very much just like go shoot the thing.
Oh.
There's a little more detail to it, but they were not very close at all.
Oh, I feel like I knew that though. I was like asking why. It's my favorite question sometimes.
Yes,
But yeah, I can see why the Jedi would be overhated, or the Jedi are too overhated. I can see that.
yeah, you're a little too.
Here's one that I found. Star Wars needs to end its over-reliance on the same handful of legacy characters.
Yes. Yes. Just yes. Done deal. Yes.
I think I would actually agree with this one too, just because, like they go back to the Old Republic, and those games are so popular and so well done and so well loved. Like you had so many
There's so much
new
potential.
characters.
There's so many characters you can go in.
Yeah.
And just there's a lot of potential there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I think it's so cool to see like a Sith Lord like Darth Revan or Malak or Darth Bane, like seeing some of his story, like and fleshing that out. Like those books are so sick.
They are fantastic.
I listened to the audiobooks of Darth Bane, and that's really cool. Audiobooks for Star Wars are probably my favorite.
I'm a big fan of sitting down with a good book when I get the chance. I need to pick up some new ones. But we'll get to that another time.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like I love Mando. I love the show. Except for season 3. It's kind of annoying. But even despite Mando, like, and seeing Luke Skywalker come in, and they wrote the story like really well, that I can't complain really. Still, you're using Mando as a way to bring in other legacy characters. Like you had Luke, and you had R2, and then you had Ahsoka, which Ahsoka is in every piece of content ever, it seems like.
She's popping up a lot recently.
Yeah, and it's like I can't complain because she's definitely one of my favorite Star Wars characters. But the more you try and fill in the blank and not leave it to some like the audience's imagination, you end up writing yourself into a lot of like plot holes.
You end up writing yourself into a plot hole or like a corner, and you're like, well, okay, now how do we get out of this?
Yeah, because then you're trying to fill in the blanks of how did this character get from this place to that place.
Because if we just focus on like the prequel and the original trilogy era of characters, which we've been doing for a while, we've got this big like bubble. This is the bubble of the original and prequel trilogy characters, right? And every time we come up with a new story for those characters, the bubble gets a little smaller and a little smaller and a little smaller and a little smaller. And right now we're at a point where I think the bubble is like clenched up real tight, and the writers at Lucasfilm and Disney are gone, well, surely we can fit one more in there. And the bubble is like the size of the tip of my finger, and they got to draw it without hitting the edge of the other circle. And that's the story. But I also understand why they're doing this, because we've seen that when they try to branch out to, beyond those characters, i.e., Skeleton Crew, the series that shall not be named.
Obi-Wan?
No, the other one.
The
Yep, that one.
Okay.
I definitely didn't say that because I couldn't remember the brain, and I have to thank or the name, and I have to thank my brain for forgetting it.
That's very impressive.
It is very impressive.
That is actually wild. I would like to have that superpower.
It's not as handy to have as you think. But yeah, no, like we saw with, the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, that when they branch out from the known characters to the unknown and we try to do something new, it doesn't necessarily rake in the views, which also means, oh, we just wasted millions and millions of dollars on something nobody watched. And they want dim views. That's how they pay the bills.
Yep. But guess who pays the bills?
The mouse. Of the Mickey variety?
Oh, you're talking about Disney.
Yes.
I was just going at it from like we pay for the Disney Plus subscription, and then all the things that we pay for are coming back to us, and they are garbage.
They are hot garbage.
Yeah. Absolutely disgusting and despicable.
It's quite terrible, actually.
Yes.
This is why I've been enjoying a lot of older content.
Yes.
That I believe Disney didn't get the chance to get its, grubby little hands on.
Like what?
Well, recently I've started watching X-Men Evolution, which was a series I watched when I was a kid. And I feel gross saying the X-Men Evolution came out like 20 years ago, I think. Yeah, let me just make sure I have the date right. Release November 4th, 2000. This came out 25 years ago. I am a freaking dinosaur. No. Oh, no. Did you know the Xbox 360 turns 20 years old next month?
Holy cow.
And is now considered a retro console?
That's pretty wild.
How does that make you feel? Does that make you feel as old as I do?
Well, I mean, we are the same age, so I guess
Yeah.
I'm kind of stuck with saying yes.
I heard about that, and I felt my bones wither to dust.
No. Just died on the
So
spot.
it's just like, what do you mean? It only came out 10 years ago. And I was just like, oh, no.
That is not the case. That's pretty wild.
It is very wild.
Oh, here's one. The Last Jedi will be highly regarded in 15 or 20 years' time.
No. Nuh-uh. No. Nope. Not happening. I don't believe it. Not for a friggin' second. Look, this analogy has been done tons of times, and I'm pretty sure we've done it. If we took the Lord of the Rings trilogy, right?
Yeah.
Peter Jackson, fantastic director. He did all 3 films. Perfect. Wonderful job. He did awesome. Am I absolutely tripping out here? It was Peter Jackson, right?
Yep.
And I'm just not like pulling a name out of my hat.
No.
Just like, I almost said Percy Jackson. We would have had to just cut there and restart the whole episode.
Not again.
Not for the 6th time.
No.
But no, so he did all 3 films, and it is like beautifully done. They're fantastic. They're awesome. They're like critically acclaimed. They still hold up to this day.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Now, let's say that we have Fellowship of the Rings, directed by Peter Jackson, right? Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers is directed by, I don't know. We'll pull out J.J. Abrams. We'll use him as our fill in, because I can't think of another director from the time of when they were doing Lord of the Rings. And he looks at what Peter Jackson did and went, okay. And he does something completely tonally different. Like, looks at the books and says, okay, here's what we're going to do. And, we're going to add some twists and stuff. And, just like maybe it'll add a little like depth to these characters. And then, it's not the greatest received. So they go, okay, the first one did really well. Let's bring him back. Peter Jackson goes, what the hell am I supposed to do with this mess? Someone left an actual dog turd in the script writing machine.
Yep.
Kind of what happened.
It was kind of what happened. Well, that's. I mean, I definitely disagree with this one too, and it's not for their. And there is something to commend The Last Jedi for trying something different and trying to take it into a different like direction. The major problem with it is that, I mean, there's many major problems, but some of the most obvious ones when you watch the film, like I even watched the sequel trilogy within the last just over a year ago, last summer. I watched all of them again, and it's the same complaints. It's The Last Jedi spent too much time on Canto Bight. It was just a big waste of time. They probably could have just went, oh, we're on Canto Bight, let's find this master key guy. Like, it's not even like a creative title, it's just a key master.
Find the code breaker.
Code breaker, that's what it was. Code breaker. And it's just like, okay, whatever. But then when you have the potential of like a Rey turning dark side with Kylo, and then you still have her resist it, and the fact that she just like, I mean, this is Rise of Skywalker for this moment, but she just randomly just shoots lightning out of her hand. Like, we know in Legends, like, that is just like, it's serious mental training to do that, and
she just kind of does it.
Yeah, and
that also implies that that's not even like necessarily a trait of the Force. That implies that it's more of a Palpatine thing.
Yeah,
which is weird because we see Dooku do it a bunch of times. So like, make up your friggin' mind.
Well, and Dooku trained to do that. That's the difference.
Yeah, he didn't just like sneeze and go, "Oh crap, lightning's coming out everywhere."
Yeah. But there's the biggest thing that I have is Kylo Ren should have stayed bad. If you have the big bad of a film be a Skywalker and have him die as a bad guy, that would go down as probably the most tragic Skywalker story as a background. And don't make Luke a total putz. Like, that's one of the most annoying things about the sequel trilogy, is that it moves aside all the previously established story and shoves it down the garbage by the garbage chute in the Death Star and puts it right into that garbage dump. Like, it's just like, we don't care about these guys. They never got a scene with Han, Luke, and Leia.
No,
Finn never became a Jedi.
No, although this is a weird note because this isn't even in like the sequel trilogy. This is in like a Lego tie-in spin-off where he's training to be a Jedi with a training remote.
Does that rebuild the universe or something? Rebuild the galaxy?
It is not Rebuild the Galaxy. I forget what it is exactly. I have an interesting side note for how Kylo's story should have been done.
Go for it.
So, keep him a villain, right? But we will take a page from Pirates of the Caribbean, not the later ones. All right, the cutoff is gonna be 3, maybe 4. All right, but specifically we're looking at number 1, Curse of the Black Pearl, where Barbossa, he is cunning, he is like deceptive, he has a way of twisting every deal to his own benefit. Like, he is a fantastic villain for the film.
Yeah.
Right? But here's the thing. In his own mind, he is a hero because he is doing all of this twisted, awful, nasty stuff to free himself and his crew from the curse of the gold. Or if you really are dead set on keeping him a villain, take a page out of freaking the second and the third one, make him like Davy Jones. Make him sympathetic. still make him irredeemable.
Yeah.
Because I've been getting into Pirates of the Caribbean recently. I've rewatched the films recently. I will say, firstly, fantastico. Love the story arc of Davy Jones. He is probably my favorite villain character in media.
Okay.
Just because he is terrible. He is an awful, awful human octopus person thing.
Can't even say human being because he's not.
Well, he's not even necessarily human. He's like a fish person.
Yeah. That's fair.
He uses the Kraken to sink ships to press gang them into joining the Dutchman, or sends them off to the locker where you can just like, I don't want you, go away. And just like, go suffer in the locker, you know?
Yeah.
And we see he is willing to do, again, terrible things to get what he's after. Third movie, he kills Beckett's kind of second in command to get the key back. Just like there's no witnesses, so he just takes advantage of that and just like straight up murders him.
Yep.
To get the key back. And he murders Will in a moment where he has pretty much nothing left to do, or nothing left to lose, because Jack's got his heart in hand with the knife ready to stab it. He's got nothing to lose, so he's just going to cause as much pain as possible on his way out.
Yeah.
But we also see the journey of how it took him there. Because 10 years he served the purpose Calypso tasked him with. And when he went to be with her for one day, she wasn't there. And that drove him to become the monster. That that rejection, that, bile, that hatred, he didn't want to feel that. So he turned his anger against everyone else to try and not feel that. Mask it with sadistic, hatred and anger and enjoyment and other suffering. We could totally have done something similar with Kylo Ren. Make him believe that, oh, I'm a Skywalker, my grandfather's Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one, but have him struggle to reach that height, right? Have Luke, not be a total, yutz, a total numpty, and be like, you can get this, it's just taking time. And have Kylo just like keep trying but fail to the point where Snoke senses that anger and goes, we can unlock this and we can turn it into a weapon for us. And he uses that rage, that rejection, that failure to turn Ben into Kylo. And that rage, that pure rage, is what gives him the power to just go absolutely nuts. This would also make sense in just like why he's so unhinged, because he's always got to be bubbling with that rage to keep going, to have the power that he has.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like that would have been a much more compelling story.
Yeah.
And then we see in quiet moments where he's like by himself. We again, taking page from Davy Jones, we see him internally. He's just like cursing himself, like he's got the sorrow, the like despair, just like, why can't I do this? Just like, why does it have to be this specific way? Why does this have to happen this way? Why can't I just have it? Have that despair, that sorrow, right? And in those quiet moments, he doesn't have all that anger like boiling around within him, so he doesn't have that raw power. But immediately swap back to that rage and just like crush the machinery around him,
Oh yeah.
We could have had such a good villain here. We could have taken Davy Jones and just kind of just like copy paste him into Star Wars, and he'd be a fantastic villain there too.
Oh, easily, absolutely, you can. Yeah, like to even just go back to that hot take. Like the Last Jedi is seen the way it is because of what it did in story. Like it's worse than, like, I get it. It's different times, but when George Lucas was developing it, like Luke and Leia weren't siblings until Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you got that, and it's like, okay, that's like super awkward and super strange.
That's a little weird,
Now that
we're never going to talk about it again.
Yeah, but there's a major difference between the guy who created the whole thing and Like the original trilogy as a whole story still works.
It's still cohesive.
It's still it's still cohesive for most of the way. The sequel trilogy, there's so many points in, like, at the end of episode 7, you're like, holy crap, it's Luke Skywalker for the first time in like whatever 40 years that Mark Hamill's back on screen. In The Last Jedi, he's just like, I'm going to stay here on my island and not do anything and be a loner for the rest of my life.
Just like be a hermit, just like, no, you guys had one job and you fumbled the bag.
It's like, I just
Where's the old man Luke Skywalker with the lightning coming out of his mustache?
Yeah, come on. And Finn, going from being a runaway stormtrooper to potentially being a Jedi was one of the coolest arcs they could have done, and they did nothing with it.
Yeah, they fumbled the bag there too. They fumbled a lot of bags.
It's like, and that's why I think The Last Jedi will not be highly regarded in the next 15 to 20 years. It's not the same thing.
No,
because it's like I get the argument of like, oh, it's trying to do something different. Like I get it, but it wasn't. If you're gonna try and take Star Wars to a different direction, you have to plan that.
They did it. They tried to do a new thing. They didn't do it well.
No, and like I'm not sold on that story. Like Kylo Ren should not have turned back to the light side. Rey, if she turned to the dark side, she should have stayed there. She should have trained. She should have lost something. Like, there's no true feeling of losing. Luke Skywalker losing horribly to Darth Vader. Like, losing his hand and being bested in combat is one of the ways that you learn the fastest. And, like, Rey just never lost. So it's like, she's not relatable.
She never she never lost a fight.
No.
The closest we came was in Force Awakens, where Kylo just stops a bolt midair and like force roofies her, I guess is the best way to use that. Is the best term I can think of.
I'm like that was kind of cool. Like episode 7 was probably the best one, I would argue. But it's not worth watching episode 7 when you know what happens after in 8 and 9.
Yeah. With 8 and 9, it's just
like they can't take the as I heard Sam Witwer say, like the prequel trilogy was way too big of a story to fit in 3 movies, that they needed the Clone Wars for it.
Yeah.
And it's like that ended up fixing and fleshing out characters that needed to be fleshed out more, like Anakin and Obi-Wan. You introduce different characters, and then you have the masterpiece of the Siege of Mandalore 20 or 15 years later. Like what other franchise has that with the same time period being told from 2 different perspectives and both being absolute masterpieces? You just don't see that.
You don't, which is a damn shame.
And when it comes down to the sequel trilogy, like if they want to try and attempt to save it, like you are gonna need to put in that work to save it.
Also, they don't have like the little time gaps that the prequel trilogy has. Like between 2 and 3 is a 3-year gap. I have no idea how long the gaps are in like the sequel trilogy. I don't think they're that long.
I heard that it was only a year.
It's not a lot of time for interesting stories.
No.
Like there's stuff you could do, but like you would need to have like 10 episodes of Rey getting absolutely dogged on to make her like, you know, okay, you've taken a lot of losses, now you can have the skills.
Yeah. You know what? All that being said, I actually read the entirety of The Shadow of the Sith.
Ooh.
And that's the book with Luke Skywalker and Lando Calrissian. And it's about the halfway point, like 20 years after Return of the Jedi. Luke's doing some, like, looking for Sith relics. He's looking for Jedi temples. He's doing all that kind of stuff. He's following the way of the Force kind of thing. Lando's doing his thing. And then you are introduced to a young Rey and her parents. And you know that her dad at least in the book, is a Palpatine. At least a Palpatine clone.
I thought it was like, because I thought like there was clone Palpatine who had like either the son or the daughter or whatever, and then they had Rey. Not that clone Palpatine had a kid with someone and that's Rey. That feels weird because she is Palpatine's granddaughter. If the clone Palpatine had her, there's a weird I'm just gonna say it, there's some weird daddy issues going on here.
But I mean, it is still technically grandfather, right? Because it's like my dad's dad is my grandfather.
No, my dad's tissue donor is dad.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's
not.
But that's.
I don't know. This gets confusing.
Yeah. But I would say
we're diving too deep in here.
I think so. But I would say, despite all that and what the sequel trilogy lacked, I think the best attempt to even begin potentially, maybe, possibly reconciling the sequel trilogy is to make the Shadow of the Sith the proper prequel to the trilogy.
I'd be okay with that.
It actually does some really cool stuff too, and you can even somehow explain a little bit of Force Ghosts, like why the frick Anakin was not there in Episode 9. Like that does not make sense. When it comes down to it's not a Palpatine versus Palpatine story, it's a Palpatine versus Skywalker story, and it just always seems to have been that way for the episodes 1 to 6.
Yeah. I have an interesting comparison that I would like to bring up.
What's that?
So, we were discussing how Rey never really took a loss, per se, right? Never really had that moment of failure. So I would like to bring up a sort of counterpoint to that with the story of The Mask of Zorro. I love doing comparisons to movies I enjoy and like a lot. So,
fair enough.
The Mask of Zorro. Do you know The Mask of Zorro at all?
I do not.
Okay, so The Mask of Zorro, we have the original Zorro, right? Who has been in prison for years, breaks out of prison because he finds out his rival and enemy who was doing horrendous, terrible thing. This is the Cliff Notes version. Has returned, so he breaks out of prison, and he is plotting how do we do this. And then we have Antonio Banderas' character come in, and he is quite upset because he finds out that Captain Love, who is sort of like the second in command of evil, as it were, to the big bad of the film, has killed and decapitated his brother, which is quite unfortunate. So he wants revenge. So De La Vega, who is the original Zorro, tells him, "Do you want your revenge?" And just like, yes. Just like, okay, cool. Follow me. After, of course, beating him soundly in a impromptu bar fight where he tries to, get the best of this seemingly old man who just absolutely whips his butt. So they go to the lair of Zorro, and they begin the long process of training to become Zorro, right? And we get a scene where he's running through drills, going through like ropes and stuff, performing different acrobatics, and he finishes the set. And we cut to De La Vega having a cup of tea, or whiskey, I forget, and a cigar, and he takes a sip, and he goes, "Perfect. Do it again." And that's an underrated thing in training, anything, because cool, you did it perfectly one time. I want to see you do it perfectly 10 times, then 100. You can't do it just once. That's just a fluke. If you do it 10 times, that's skill. And in the movie, the new Zorro never really loses a fight because he's been trained so well that he never goes up against a superior opponent because he is the superior opponent. He's been trained so effectively by the original Zorro. But we see him get the snot knocked out of him in his training. Over lunge, gets whipped right in the ass. Like, he gets absolutely just like the snot knocked out of him in his training, so he becomes the superior opponent. He earns that. Ray, we don't see that.
Yeah.
Side note, go watch The Mask of Zorro. It's a fantastic movie. If you like swordplay and just like a really solid story overall, I'm not going to go into like too much more spoilers. It's a fantastic movie. Go check it out. It's phenomenal. That's your movie recommendation for the week for this episode.
I will.
That's also the movie recommendation for our viewers, listeners.
Yes, definitely.
Something along those lines.
Content consumers.
Your recommendation for today?
Oh, me?
No, for the viewers.
You want one of my recommendations?
Sure, let's have one of your recommendations. That way there's one from each of us.
Oh, Revenge of the Sith.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Can't talk about it more. It's perfection. Cinematic. Amazingness. Top tier.
It is phenomenal.
Not Top Gear. Top tier.
Top tier, yes.
Yes. Well, for realsies, I'd say Interstellar. Interstellar is very solid.
I don't think I've seen that one, so maybe I will check that out.
It's a Christopher Nolan film.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He does good stuff.
He does very good stuff. Shall I play the Gungan City transitional sound and then we wrap it up for the night?
I believe so. It is getting a little late, and I am actually tired, surprisingly, after my long cat nap.
I am getting tired too, but I've also been up since 5:30. So
you should roll the outro music. Let's go. Break out the mariachi band.
Break the mariachi band.
Break out the mariachi band.
Oh no.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to us this day. Whatever time of the day you're listening to us, morning, evening, afternoon, or night. That was not the correct order, but we're going to roll with it. Thank you so much for joining us today and listening to us. We hope you've enjoyed. If you're not having a good day, we hope the start of your day does not ruin the rest of your day. We hope it picks up. We hope you have a phenomenal time listening to us. Thank you so much for choosing us. We know you could pick anything, but we're honored and supremely happy you choose us to listen to. I'm Terry. This is my wonderful co-host, Cody.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to us. And remember, there's always a bigger fish.